This is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. Let's just get right into it today. It's that time again. RHONJ Recap with Kim D.
Excited.
What's going on, Kim?
Word for the day. Gia.
Can you believe this?
Love her. Love her.
Yeah.
Spoke up for herself. He likes to talk down to women. I had the brunt of it at San Cubano and I gave it to him. And no one gives it back to him. He tries to play Mr. Family Man, whatever, but he's always talking down to women, and Gia gave it right back to him. And I like it. He couldn't handle it. He got up and tried to walk away.
I mean, as I was watching it, I was like, this is Teresa's daughter.
Well, speaking of Teresa, when he said, "Who raised you?" Teresa's her mother. She sat there and didn't do a thing about it. If that was me and I was her mother, I'd be like, "Excuse me, I raised her and I'm very proud of her." Okay. Teresa just threw her under the bus by not saying anything about "I raised her and she's a good kid." She just let him talk to her like that. And that really ticked me off, but that's Teresa.
But when all this was happening and then like Melissa was involved, it to me was like, they don't want to get back to where they were. Like, I don't think it will ever happen again. You know what I mean? It's like if someone comes at you and you're like, "Listen, I'm not the one you're going to knock down. I'm going to fight back." It's like, you remember that as such an awful time that I don't think Teresa or Melissa ever, I mean, they basically have said it. I don't think they ever want to go back to that.
Until the money stops. Once the money stops, done. They'll never talk to each other again.
I don't think the money's going to stop for a long time, Kim.
Either do I. No, either do I. I think they're going to go for a while, but I'm saying the show is what's keeping them together. You understand? That's what's keeping them together. They could care less about each other. That's why when Melissa walked up to Gia gave her the look like, "You got to be kidding me. Like, you think you're going to come at me now?" Because she is locked and loaded. You know what I mean? She's not going to take it. She's not going to, their coming attractions, or Melania is going to give it to him next.
Now, where did you read that Gia got $50,000?
I read it in one of the blogs, and it said that one of the daughters, which was Gia, New Jersey housewives, got 50,000, and the husbands don't get anything. So they were accusing Joe Gorga of finding out, and he was mad. I don't know if that's true. You know what I mean? But that's what I read. And listen, Gia is 21. She's not her kid anymore. She's a grown adult. She can make her own. She could write her own ticket. And I don't blame her for wanting to get paid. She should get paid. It's almost like getting paid as a friend, So, and she brought it last night or the other night, whatever night it was.
They're just going to stop with Friends Up on New Jersey and just have Melania and Gia be the Friends Up.
I'll tell you, I don't like, they're good. They'll bring it.
I mean, could you imagine? I mean, I'm sure they approached Teresa to begin with, like, Gia, I'm sure the first words out of Teresa's mouth are like, "You have to pay her."
And I don't blame her. I don't blame her for that, because if they want Gia to do what she did, why shouldn't she be paid? Because again, there's still the laundry from the family is still being aired. Okay. So if you're going to do that, you might as well get paid for it.
I agree.
Right. I listen, I say, go Gia. And then she was the bartender. I mean, she really, I'll tell you, I wouldn't doubt, you and I spoke about this, if people start paying her for appearances, I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean,
right.
I'm assuming, who knows? I mean, she had her 21st birthday at that, I think it was a casino. Was she in Vegas, or she was somewhere for her 21st birthday?
I thought she was in Miami. I could be wrong. I thought she was in Miami, but I don't know.
So you don't know. I mean, she posted a lot about that hotel and everything. Yes, and that might have been an appearance.
1000%. And like I said, good for her. But, going back to the scene, that's Joe's MO. He talks down to women. He hit her below the belt. "Who raised you?" Because he didn't like that she, told him, "I don't like how you talk about my father." And of course, she was on her own. Teresa sat back and didn't say a thing to help her. Okay. And she was on her own and she handled it well. And I'm sure the producer said to her, "No, go talk to your uncle, go make up, because that's what they do." Because what? Well, all of a sudden she changed on how she feels about him. No, the producers are pushing her to make up with him.
What about all the people now that are like, well, what about when Teresa and anyone else is saying things about Melissa and Joe? How does that make Antonia feel? That's now going around.
Okay, so then Antonia could get in the picture. And Antonia could say, well, how do you think I felt when you said that my mother was cheating on my father or my mother was a stripper? They have every right to say that too. But nobody told their parents to sign up for the show.
I
They're
hope we
making big money.
Yeah, they're making big money.
They're
I hope
making
we
big
see
money.
we have to see a lot more Gia, I hope. Like this can't be it with
Oh,
Gia.
I know. I hope there's a lot more. She was great. And it was in true Joe Gorga form to get up and walk away because she embarrassed him. And he didn't know what to do. Just who raised you, knocked her, and then walked away. But that's just his MO, to be, really mean to women and talk down to them. So whatever, I'm glad Gia stood her ground. And I don't think this is over. And I could imagine how Joe Giudice feels watching that his daughter has to defend him on TV. And then when Joe says to her, who raised you? Joe Giudice has to be freaking out.
In like a good way?
No, well, not, I don't think he appreciates Joe Gorka going after his 21-year-old daughter by saying, who raised you? I mean, I'm sure he's proud of his children for sticking up for him, but what father wants their kids to have to defend them and have a grown-ass man try to knock her down? Who raised you? That was a put down.
Could you imagine if they run into each other, like Melissa and Joe could be there where he is, and one night just run into him? It's possible.
Listen, if I were Joe Giudice, after he did that to my daughter, I would say, you know where I am. Why don't you say those things to my face? Because he already knocked him down. Remember when they almost like when Joe's black stuff all over his hair Joe freaking knocked him right to the ground, Giudice. Joe Gorga is a big talker. I haven't seen him defend himself yet. Even with me, put his fist up to my face and Melissa grabbed his arm because I guess she's used to that shit. I'm not used to that. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? You're gonna put your fist up to me? Like, you better watch your step.
He did put his fist up.
He did. And that's when you see me going, come on, bring it. Why would I say that? It's because he had his fist up and she grabbed his arm and pulled it down.
I think because we grew up with her, I think people have loved just watching Gia. She's good. She's level-headed.
Yep. Yes, she is. And she's beautiful and she's smart and she sticks up for herself and she doesn't let any of this. Listen, I'm sure she's had her moments that she gets upset over all of it, but she's risen above it and she doesn't make it who she is. She just came right out like a little lion. The mother sat there dumbfounded, didn't say a word, and she just